Good morning, guys. So a lot of us here do a tremendous amount of work in R, but how many can say that we get R to work for us? So I hope to, in this short tutorial, give you guys the ability to create automated reporting or run jobs in R, and we're going to do that by trying to answer a simple case study question. Bitcoin, should I buy or sell? Simple enough, right? But before we get to answering that, let's look at the process we need to put in place to generate our report. So we're going to start where everyone's familiar, and that's the R script. So this is going to house the logic for your analysis. And in my case, I'm basically hitting a Bitcoin price index API and calculating a few exponential moving averages on the price. If the price crosses one of these bands, then I'm going to be sending out the alert. So next up, Nitter. Nitter is a package that basically allows us to process Markdown. And we're going to use that because the Markdown is actually our report document. And in here, you're going to be including any of those nice views or information that you want to be sending to yourself. So as I say, we're going to include a call to Nitter in the R script. And that's going to pick up the Markdown file and convert it to raw HTML. And we're going to use that in a pretty neat way. So MailR is a package that allows us to send mails from R. And we're going to send through the raw HTML of the Markdown into the body of the mail. So this is pretty cool because it allows us to directly send or embed the report document into the body of the mail. So between the R script and the mail, we're all set up. But we want to get this running automatically without us having to do anything. So we're going to do that two-step. And this is a way to do it in Windows. So we need a batch file. So a batch file is a text file that allows execution of commands through a shell program, which is Windows CMD in our case. So in the batch file, we're going to include a call to the R script. Cool. Now we're going to hook up the batch file to the task scheduler. And those of you on Linux, the equivalent is basically cron, and it's going to run the batch file for us. So with all that in place, we're going to have this fancy email straight to our inbox. But let's look at a few configuration steps to make this whole process a little smoother. Firstly, in the Markdown file, you're going to want to include a few of these defaults. So right at the top, including echo, message, and warning, and setting those to false basically makes sure that we don't get any ugly diagnostic or warning messages printed to the report. And I'm just setting defaults for the figure width and height that ensures consistency throughout the report for images. So next up in our call to Nitter, these are a few options that I've specified. I won't go into detail about them, but they're pretty much there to ensure a pretty and well-formatted report. And finally, in the call to MailR, there are two lines that are really important. We're going to want to include HTML equals true. And this makes sure that HTML is, the raw HTML is correctly passed in the body of the mail. And setting inline to true just ensures that the pictures are printed inline in the report. So back to our question then. Bitcoin, to buy or sell? Well, looks like we have mail. So let's check it out. Aha, a mail from yourself. How interesting. And opening that up, there we go. So we have this pretty report document, and it's embedded into the body of the mail. And what is it saying? Well, there's a bit of green text there, and it's got to be a good thing, right? Apparently, the price has risen through the 12 and 26-day EMA levels. So, to answer our question, to buy or sell then? Well, the answer is unequivocally yes. But the question was to buy or sell, so what does yes mean? I think it means that instead of listening to me, you should probably consult a financial advisor. So before I go then, a few tips. You're going to want to add the R and R script executable file parts to the Windows path environment variable. And another important one is to be mindful of working directory. So when you're executing the R scripts through a batch file, the default working directory does become that of the batch file. And lastly, you're going to want to ensure robust extraction and wrangling of data, just to ensure that from the first iteration to the last of this automated report, you're not going to be running into any trouble. So I don't think there's going to be much time for questions, but you guys can mail me directly. And there's about 3 files you need to set this whole thing up, and you can find it at the following GitHub link.